Yes, I was away for about 15 or so years. And I don't think that there was a moment of time while I was away from Detroit that I didn't yearn to be back here. But for me, the opportunity to grow was elsewhere. The opportunity to learn about design and to really find my passion led me elsewhere. And I think that that's fine, that's okay. But it was important for me to come back because, well, first off, the time is right now, right? It's an amazing time to be alive in the city of Detroit with so many different projects happening. Downtown is sort of fine and okay by itself, but the real excitement is in our neighborhoods and with our youth. I think as someone who knows the city, who's of the city, who cares about its future, who cares about its architecture and the culture of the place, who better than us to preserve those things and to build upon them for the future. So come back home if you ain't here. We're ready for you. Come on back. Time's now. The place is here. Detroit. So once again, good evening and welcome to the Cody Rouge and Warrendale Neighborhood Framework Plan. My name is Matt Williams and I am the project manager for this outstanding plan. This is the second round of strategic neighborhood framework plans that the city is undergoing. The first started in 2015 and now we're in our second round of strategic neighborhood plans. This is a little bit of a different strategic neighborhood plan. This is the first time that the city has put youth in the driver's seat of how a planning process should work. So with that said, Yusuf, take us away.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Okay. Welcome to the public kickoff and the world debut of Cody Rouge and Warrendale Neighborhood Framework and Investigation. You're seeing this for the first time anywhere. And now, as a supporting MC, let me introduce my colleague whose birthday is today. Let's give a hand to Reynold Liddy Smith.
All right, thank you. Welcome to the public kickoff of Cody Rouge and Warrendale Youth-Centered Neighborhood Framework. That means young people are running the show tonight. All right. We'll be telling you what we found and what we investigated and of a neighborhood framework and what it's all about. After that, we'll lead a discussion. We'll be excited to hear your response. I also want to point out the tables in the back where you can get more information about next year of the activities to make this thing called a neighborhood framework work. Please check out along with the food.
Thank you. Thank you. Before we share the world debut, First, I want to give a chance for other members of the project organizational steering committee, like the government and the neighborhood groups, to say hello and introduce themselves. Because they're a little bit important too, please know there are 11 organizations on the committee, and we have warned them multiple times to get 2 minutes to talk about, and we will hold the microphone. Let's kickoff begin. All right, who's first?
Okay. Hello, everyone. All right, you got the timer on? Welcome to the Neighborhood Framework for Warrendale, Cody Rouge. And as it's been described to you, this is a little different. This area has the second highest concentration of young people under 18 of any neighborhood of the city of Detroit. And so as we thank all those families who have raising their kids right here. But we started to think a little bit about what that meant about the future of Cody Rouge and Warrendale, and thought, 30, 40 years from now, these are the young people who will be where you're sitting. They're the ones that are going to maintain and sustain this area for decades to come. And You know, a lot of times we say, you know, the future is for the youth, and the youth are our future. And we just said, you know what? Let's do it for real. Let's really see what young people have to say about the future of their community. And they will always have the wise counsel of the elders and adults who will help them reach their potential. But this is a plan that is about them. And we really, really need you to be in their corner as they have committed for an entire year to meet twice a week, giving up their Saturday mornings to begin this process and to follow it through. So I just want to give a shout out to these extraordinary future leaders, future planners, because the future really is theirs. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Denise Madewell, and I'm the president of the Warren Avenue Community Organization. Our boundaries are within, actually the Boys and Girls Club that we're in right now is within our boundaries of our organization. They run from Joy Road to Paul, Greenfield to Southfield. Our community organization focuses on many issues. We tend to drive harder at the bigger issues of addressing blight. We do have a community radio patrol that addresses and reports criminal activity to the police department. We work closely with our neighborhood police officer, Victoria Eschen. She's very helpful within the organization. If you join the organization, it is a good resource for information as to what's going on within not only your community and our specific neighborhood, but the city in general. Our membership meetings are the last Thursday of every month right here in this building. They begin at 5:15 and they end at 6:30. There are light refreshments served. Typically, we have guest speakers of interest from various departments, maybe the water department, our state representative Sylvia Santana, our councilman Gabe Leland, other speakers that may be of interest. If we have noticed issues that people are having in the neighborhood regarding blight, garbage, and so forth, we as a community organization will come together and address those issues with the people, the powers that be over those particular issues. So we serve as a liaison with various different community service organizations, as you see with these tables, Kenyatta, Barb, Lynn, myself, Bonnie. We all work together. Although we are in our own little boundary district, we do reach out and work with Far West, Friends of Rouge Park, and all the other community organizations to try to make it a community feel and a home and a neighborhood again. So again, I'd like to thank the Youth Initiative for tonight, and I praise their efforts.
My name is Hassan Bazi. I serve as Director of Regional Opportunities at an organization called Access. Access is a nonprofit human services organization that operates in and around Detroit. We've been around since 1971. We recently launched a new neighborhood hub in the Cody Rouge neighborhood right on Joy Road at 18900 Joy Road. Our other location close to this neighborhood is at Outer Drive in Southfield, right outside the Grantmont-Rosedale neighborhood. The services at Access are workforce development, entrepreneur and small business development. We have immigration services. We operate after-school and in-school enrichment programs out of 21 schools throughout the city of Detroit. We also operate, so it's workforce development, youth programming. We also have adult services and community health services. At our new location on Joy Road, we'll be taking all of those services that we offer across the organization and bringing them right into the neighborhood. We're very excited to be part of this project to serve with the other community organizations here, and my role in this is that I want to be the voice of the communities that we serve and to bring those voices front and center to the table. And very excited that this is a youth-centered project, and to echo Maurice's words, I mean, these are the future planners, the future business owners, the future homeowners, and what better way than to engage them now. And I've got to give it up to this guy because he's demonstrating that he's a leader tonight. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kenyatta Campbell, and I humbly serve as Executive Director for the Cody Rouge Community Action Alliance. We are the local community development corporation housed here in the neighborhood. We consider ourselves to be the voice of the community. Pretty much all of the organizations that are before you are members of our organization, as well as other stakeholders throughout the community. Our core areas are community engagement, neighborhood stabilization, and youth development. So I want to give our young people a round of applause this evening. It has always been my vision to see our young people actually leading, so kudos to Sharday and Hector for getting them prepared for this evening. You all are doing a phenomenal job. Our boundaries are Fort Road, 96 West Parkway, and Greenfield. We were established back in 2007 as a part of the Good Neighborhoods Initiative under the Skillman Foundation. Since then, we've been able to leverage support and funding to support some of the projects that are coming out that you'll be seeing over the next couple of years. So again, we are very appreciative to have been selected by the city of Detroit to work with our neighborhood. Again, thank you all.
Hi, yes, my name is Bobby Johnson. I'm the president of Franklin Park. Our boundaries are, we are east of Rouge Park, west of Southfield, we're north of Plymouth and south of Joy Road. Basically, the things that we do is try to bring our residents together. We connect residents with resources to try to make someone's life a little easier, a little better. We also do cleanups, blight. We just did, if you drive down Plymouth and Evergreen, we just did 2 bus stops. We're working on our 3rd one. It's supposed to spell bus, but right now we have the B and the S up. Also, we have, like, in our area, a reason to join us is because we have a lot of beautiful sites. We have 3 parks in our area, which Steinfield has just got a new playscape. We do a lot of things with our seniors, and we come out and just try to make our neighborhood a little easier and bring a better quality of life. Our meetings are every 4th Monday at 6 o'clock at St. Susan on West Chicago. So we would hope that if you're in the Franklin Park area that you would join us and come out and be a part of our family. Thank you.
On behalf of the Friends of Rouge Park, welcome. I'm Sally Petrella, and I'm the president, and Rouge Park is our jewel of this neighborhood. It's what really makes it great. So our organization has been around since 2002. We are a coalition of neighborhood associations. Most of these associations are involved with us. We work with the city, and we work with other park user groups and people who love the park. Some of the things that we do is we advocate for the park, which has ranged from fighting to keep Rouge Park when we had to fight the city against selling off 115 acres for residential development, which we won. Now we are moving beyond that and advocating for the park to get the resources and the facilities and the things in the park, because this is a huge regional park, but it's underutilized. So the city's finally noticed that they do have a park, and it is the city's largest. And this year we're actually going to be seeing some new playground equipment, sports fields, walking trails, a new splash pad by the pools, getting some state funding, getting a new roof on the barn. Lots of really good things coming to the park. We also work to clean up the park. We organize an annual cleanup. Pick up this flyer May 18th. Come on out to the park at Joy and Spinoza. We'll be doing projects all over the park. We also work to put in trails, and we also are working to promote the park, to get more activity in the park, to get more things for youth to do out in the park. We've developed a master plan. Is my time up here? I'm just really excited about this youth-centered activity because we want to have more happening in Rouge Park and more reasons for youth to come to Rouge Park. One of the new initiatives is we have a youth camping program now in the park. So anyway, really excited about this. Thank you all for coming.
I'm excited. How about you? Take a look around over here. There's a lot happening in this community right now. and it is driven by our youth, so that excites me. So we're good to go. I'm the Reverend Eric Miller, and I'm here representing the Joyce Southfield Community Development Corporation, which serves the entire Cody Rouge neighborhood from Ford Road to the south, 96 to the north, the far west side past Rouge and Greenfield, and those are soft borders because we will reach out beyond those borders if necessary. But Joyce Southfield is happy to be here together with all of these amazing people right here. Give it up for these folks here that are with us. They're all working hard. And this is an example of a community that is working hard together to reach out to be the hands and feet in this community and we serve, but also to join hands in a concentrated effort to be the change that we want to see here. And this is all to benefit our neighbors that are just outside our doors, and especially the youth of this community. We are all different faces from different places, and we have a common goal here, and that is to see this neighborhood and this community grow and prosper. And currently we are accepting applications for our home improvement program. It is a summer program that works with youth from all over the country that come into this area, and we are focusing on attempting to bring youth from this neighborhood into work beside those volunteers from around the country to work on light home improvement program and repairs, front porches, small plumbing repairs and whatnot. And also we are working with the youth to create opportunities and skills education to open pathways to tomorrow, which is very vitally important to their survival in this world. We are also working alongside the outstanding and amazing District 7 team to form and support a business, Cody Rouge Business Association, and also with these folks here, we will bring them alongside of us in that area also. And I'd be careless if I did not have the opportunity to introduce Tiffany Bell as our Health and Wellness Coordinator. She coordinates our farmers market on Tuesdays throughout the summer, which is focused on bringing healthy produce into the neighborhood, youth activities, and also the, that's my alarm, and also youth cooking programs there. We are looking forward to be working with you and alongside of you, and we are not just looking at you, we are listening. And I think that's a better way to go. We are listening to the youth. Thank you, and we are excited to be the change with you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Angie Webb. I work with the Joy Community Association, along with many other organizations in our community. I think it's important when we have this kind of turnout because that means people are involved and engaged. And I appreciate that. And the thing about it is that we can get a lot done when we have our voice heard. Our boundaries for Joy Community is from Joy Road to Plymouth and Greenfield to Southfield. We are constantly doing things to improve with our youth, with our seniors, and with our community as a whole. We have done home repairs, we have done job fairs, we have done cleanups. I mean, basically everything that we thought could be done that would be of importance to our community, we have tried to make a difference. We come together as a community, collaborating on different efforts that I have mentioned as well. And we appreciate the fact that when our community gets involved with what's important to us, there's a lot of development going on. As a matter of fact, we have a golf program that we will start on June the 25th for students that are between the ages of 7 and 14 years old. Anyone who is interested, you can go to the back of the room. Wave your hands, ladies, please. And those ladies will be able to give you the information you need. Also, if you are interested in entrepreneurship and you're between the ages of 14 and 24, we are doing our entrepreneurship program right now on Saturdays at PBA Royale at Chicago and Southfield. So please feel free to bring your young people. We have a dynamic speaker, and that's my time. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Rawan. I present the Islamic Center of Detroit. I do apologize. My boss should be here, Sufyan Naban, but there's a death in the, one of our board members just passed away. Okay, so enough with that. I just wanted to introduce Islamic Center of Detroit as a faith-based community center. We have so many activities. You know, I can go on and on about them, but one of our main ones are we have activities to serve Muslims, non-Muslims, etc. We have a huge immigration program. We help with assistance. We have a food pantry every month. We have for the activities for like the youth. We have one of the largest youth programs in the center. They have community service, mental wellness. They have art therapy for either children or adults. So it serves the community as adults, youth, kids, all ages can come. Anyone can join us actually, and you can always feel welcome to come. We have amazing food of what I hear about. You guys are always welcome to the Islamic Center of Detroit. If you guys have any more questions about what we do and as a whole of what we do in this at the center, you can either stop me or Abraham right there. He's my coworker. And one of the main things that we do too is we have a back to school program that we do with, we get connected with the Muslim Family Services. It's in Detroit. Last year, it was like 2,000 attendees that came. So anyone is welcome. You get free backpacks to start to school again. And thank you. I think I have 9 seconds. I'm good.
That's me. Good evening, everyone. My name is Barb Matney. I am president of the Warrendale Community Organization. Our boundaries are Joy Road to the north, Ford Road to the south, Southfield Freeway to the east, and Rouge Park to the west. Our organization, if I'm not mistaken, is the largest community organization in the city of Detroit. We make sure that we provide the community with resources to help them. We provide them access to all our city, state, and county officials. And we also became home of a community garden 4 years ago, and it's now actually 9 lots, which includes community garden, orchard, and we are putting in a pocket park starting this month. Warrendale is actually the only community organization in the city of Detroit that has 2 active radio patrols that we are very, very proud of. Our community, we are always looking for new members, just like anyone. The higher all of our memberships are, the more we can do to help out the community. So our first public discussion for the Warrendale area is May 22nd from 6 to 8 p.m. at St. Peter and Paul Activities Building at 7685 Granville. And make sure you enter the parking lot off of Westwood. And thank you guys all so much.
Thank you, and good evening to each and every one of you. My name is Gabe Leland, and I am the City Councilman for District 7 on the west side. I'm just very excited to be here today to sit next to these wonderful young talent, our youth, who are truly our future. And we know that a lot of areas around the city are fighting for dollars and for development, and I'm so happy to sit at this table with some of the proud leaders on the west side to talk about the needs of our community. And I talked with Mr. Cox over these last many years, the director of the Planning and Development Department, just about the types of surveys and the meetings that this community has been through over the last 20 years, and there hasn't been a whole lot of delivery. And now's our opportunity to step it up and to deliver. And each and every one of you are involved in that conversation. And so I'm just very excited about the conversation and the fact that we have our youth here backing us up, truly the future of the city of Detroit. And so thanks so much for this opportunity. Many of the community groups on this side of the table talked about their district boundaries. If you're in the audience and you do not belong to a community group, please, come up. I know that a lot of the residents here will be staying well into the end of the night, and we're all very approachable. I also saw Sylvia Santana, our state senator, that has joined us. If you want to wave your hand. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mona Ali. I'm your District 7 manager with the Mayor's Office. I know many people here already, but in case you didn't know what we do, we deal with all neighborhood blight issues. We work closely with all the different community groups, city departments, and city council's office to make sure everybody's well connected and aware of everything that's going on in the district. We're very excited to help out with this year's framework plan, and we're looking forward to see what comes out of this plan and what everybody wants to see in the area. Our team consists of myself, my deputy manager, Eric Folks, our district business liaison, Brianna Walker, who is somewhere around here, and Marty DeNecolo, who will be with us for the next year helping out in District 7. So on your way out, if you'd like a resource guide or if you have any questions about any open issues, please visit Marty in the back and he can get down your information and we can call you back this week or next week with more information to follow up. But we're really excited to be here, and we're proud of all the kids on the Cody Rouge Youth Council to see what they've been working on.
My name is Lakendra Reynolds Smith, and I'm from Cody Rouge in Detroit, Michigan.
My name is Lily Marie Reynolds Smith, and I am from Detroit.
My name is Mullah Yusuf Sabor, and I'm from Warrendale.
My name is Alexia Stoner, and I'm from Detroit, Michigan.
My name is Marnisha Davenport, and I am from the west side in the Finkel area.
My name is Rodney Bridges. I'm from Radford, Charter Township, Michigan.
My name is Skylar Pounds. I'm from Detroit's west side, closer to the West Chicago area. Yeah.
My name is Taylor Hodges, and I'm from the west side of Detroit. I live on Asbury Park.
I think I like that guy with the fedora hat, if I don't say so myself.
Thank you, Yusuf. Okay. Good evening, everyone. How are we doing tonight? That's good. I'm glad to hear that. So my name is Taylor Hodges, and for about the next 30 minutes or so, I will be breaking down the phrase neighborhood framework along with my fellow youth investigators. So I know many of you may be wondering what a neighborhood framework is, and I'll just call it NF for short. I know you've seen on the news many people of the city government working on different areas in the neighborhood, trying to set up and make it look good. And you may be wondering when is our time. I'm glad to say that our time is now. Thank you. We, the Neighborhood Framework Investigators, have spent the last 10 weeks running all around the city trying to break down this phrase so that we could come here tonight and tell you all about it. And I know when I first started, I was pretty lost myself, and I have my own definition of neighborhood framework, but why don't we look at some things that we've heard? For example, Dave Walker, who is the West Side Design Director in the Detroit Planning and Development Department, aka PDD, aka the people in charge of this NF, told us that neighborhood framework is a way to make communities better, that it's all about the residents and that they have millions of dollars to spend. On the other hand, some people in Jeff Chalmers were wondering if neighborhood framework was really to improve the neighborhood for residents, or is it only to bring in new people with more money? And if the city government is really listening to ideas, or do they already have a plan? Another young lady that we met, named Omid, said it sounds like they're framing things on the neighborhood, and y'all can take that however y'all want to. But here's what we, the youth investigators, have learned over the past few months. Number one, it is a year-long process. Okay, so this is a chart demonstrating everything that we have worked on in the past few months, and we are here in April 2019. But you will hear more about this chart near the end of this presentation from my fellow youth investigator, Rodney.
I like to go to my grandma's house. I like sometimes to go swimming in the summer at Cody Rouge swim park thing. and sometimes I like to go to the movies at Fairlane, and I think that's it.
Rouge, they literally just put up a court down there, got the Detroit Pistons logo. So I like going to Rouge Park, going to swim, going to play basketball, go to the park, whatever.
I like to go to my friend's house, in a friend's house, and sometimes in the backyard.
Do you ever go to any of the parks?
No.
Why is that?
There's no parks around, except for the school park.
Like the park, I like to go with my grandma to the grocery store, and I like to go to the gas station most of the time, with my friends. We just like to play. Like we play football a lot of the time, and then we go like in this like little woods area and we play tag, because right next to Rouge Park is like this little wood area, and we go and play tag and stuff.
Well, there's like a abandoned house that I like some people sit there and they like do like it's like bad stuff there, and then like we like get away from there and go somewhere that we don't want to like see people doing like inappropriate things. Some abandoned houses. I think the city should tear them down because stuff could happen.
Interactions I done got into, like, for going to the store. Like one day I was just walking down the street and I was singing. And this dude told me to shut the F up, right? So I'm like, I shouldn't even fueled it, but just set it back and it just went all sideways. So like, now I'm concerned about my safety when I'm going to the store.
Number 2, it looks at the physical environments, such as streets, houses, businesses, parks, and health and education and safety. Number 3, it is focused on a specific area, from West Chicago down to Paul and Ford and Greenfield over to Rouge Park. Number 4, it is a chance for neighborhood groups and city government to sit at the same table, just like tonight. For example, we young people are a part of the organizational steering committee that meets every month. Some of the organizations that you might see that are sitting up here tonight are the Franklin Park Community Association, Access, Joy Community Association, Joy Southfield Community Development Corporation, and Warrendale Community Organization.
Well, I know there was 12 different organizations in that steering committee, and we were planning like how to bring in business, how to make some areas safe parks for kids.
They're actually good. It was pretty cool, meeting around with different people that live in the community and getting their different perspectives of the city and like the changes that they want to see, and even the pros in the city, like they see like different things coming.
So people that was there at the steering committee was community organizations, as the Cody Rouge Youth Council and other organizations. And we came together to discuss what the residents would like to see in the community and how we can make it more livable.
It was great up to the part when everybody like disagree on certain things. They weren't agreeing with others.
Sometimes there are a few disagreements because people see things differently, but I feel like overall it's a pretty good meeting once we all get to hear what they think the residents need. I feel like overall we pretty much get down to the same agreements in the end.
I wouldn't say fighting, just disagreements. After the disagreements and the talking, it's actually nice because it's a lot of people getting together that really cares.
Well, the very first one, we had a very big disagreement about the boundaries of the community and who lives where and who goes to church where and who grocery shops where. But the other two, I think we're coming together. But we're not all the way there, but we're coming together.
A very elderly lady. She had a great idea. I loved it. It's like have a shelter with AC and heating, but solar panel.
Well, we're having this big event on April the 30th. We were talking about that and talking about how the people feel about it and what do they think they can get out of us doing it. And they had good response. Some people are excited. Can't wait for it happens. Most of the people in the community was. I think because they like talking, but we're not going to get on that.
Number 5, it will end with a final report in early 2020 that puts forward real projects, aka it's a book. And lastly, it is an opportunity to make the neighborhood safer, fun, and just an all-around good place for people to live. This is a diagram we drew one day to show how neighborhood framework is really a big negotiation between city government and all its parts on one side of the table, and the neighborhood with all its parts on the other. If things go right, the government can learn how to do its job and spend everyone's money better to make it a better neighborhood. But that takes a lot of talking. Thank you. But that takes a lot of talking, learning, and deciding. That's why we have a whole year to do it. One of the main things that we focused on during this part of the project was asking questions, such as questions about houses and apartments. Like, why are so many houses in my community owned by slumlords, aka bad people? Businesses and jobs. Like, how can we get more businesses in the community? And places for young people. Like, why are teen spaces more in suburban areas and not in the Detroit area? Here we are compiling our questions. We also had the opportunity to meet with neighborhood leaders, such as the Warrendale Community Organization and their In Memory of Garden.
One of the things that makes Warrendale very unique is that we're surrounded on 3 sides by suburbs. Dearborn on 2 sides and Dearborn Heights on the 3rd. And so that kind of gives us a hybrid feeling to the place. Not quite suburban, but also not quite urban either.
It's a little warmer. Yeah, so they were probably waiting for a radio channel. Hey Sky, we're going into the greenhouse. It's a lot warmer. Benches. So I just brought some for you guys all. This here is that corner lot. And then this was the house next door. So it's about where we're standing at right now.
Here we are having a conversation in their greenhouse. I personally would like to visit their garden and help out a lot on the different projects that they have this year. So I really recommend going there and signing up and helping out. Thank you. We also met with Cody Rouge at Community Action Alliance with Ms. Kenyatta Campbell.
So my name is Kenyatta Campbell, and I humbly serve as the Executive Director for the Cody Rouge Community Action Alliance. We are a local community development corporation located on the far west side of Detroit. For the past 12 years, we spent many years in really developing community plans and making sure that we involve local residents as well as youth to be a part of developing our local communities. We need to be able to figure out ways to make the associations and the smaller individual block clubs feel like they're more leading, and they are leading, not just saying it. And I think that's what I would like to see before I leave this position. Hearing from me all the time is not the best solutions, and sometimes I have to tell funders that I shouldn't be the only person you're talking to. I'm just one leader. 10 years ago, we did not have a strong working relationship with the city. Now they're calling us more probably than we want them to call us. But it's a good thing because now we're being heard. When we have issues within the city, those issues are being addressed. For example, like the blight that happened years ago, blocks are looking so much better. And I definitely have to give kudos to the Department of Neighborhoods because anytime I have an issue or residents have an issue, we pick up the phone, changes are happening. They're happening.
And Waco with Miss Lynn and Miss Denise.
Waco is Warren Avenue Community Organization. It is a long-standing community organization with many needs, but the hearts are big and the hearts are open. And we look forward to not only growing our organization, but becoming actual neighbors with other organizations and striving to become one community. I don't believe any city really has enough resources to get at the grassroots levels that the community sees. And that's what I really enjoy about being able to see the actual difference that's taking place, because we can. We're seeing the houses being torn down. We're seeing the police presence. We're seeing the community actually come out and and gather more. And it's nice to reach over to Warrendale. It's nice to go to Cody Rouge. It's nice to know that finally, because it got so bad, you were incubated or isolated in this little corner of your house, and now you can come out and you know people from over this part of the city and even Southwest, and the city officials are actually, you know, communicating. So it's just a very nice experience, and I've enjoyed it. I've been president now for almost 2 years, so.
Yeah, we have a lot of Arabic people, and all different kind of Arabic people from all different places, and we have Spanish-speaking people also from all different places.
Yeah.
So it's very intercultural.
It's challenging.
It's very hard to, you know, connect with people when you can't talk to them.
We need more lighted areas. We need safer streets that the kids can go out and play. The elderly can go out and go grocery shop and go to the post office. Although that's called Warrendale and this is called Waco and that's called Cody, and in our minds we don't even see the boundaries. That's just paperwork. But we would love to see it embroiled as one community. Like Lynn was saying, we live over here. You guys just happen to live a few blocks that way. You know, there's no reason that should create some sort of barrier.
Before I continue with the next part, I would just like to say thank you again to all of the organizations for coming here tonight. And I want to say that you, make sure that you sign up to help out. And we really appreciate you all coming here tonight. And please sign up so that we can make our community a better place. Sign up with all these organizations. Okay. So we also had the chance to see Neighborhood Framework in another neighborhood. We had the opportunity to go to Jeff Chalmers' final public meeting. There we heard the opinions of passionate residents, spoke to government officials, learned about the plans for the neighborhood, and saw the different ideas for the community. This is one of the passionate residents I was talking about. And we got leads on the city government. Like Eric and Mona from District 7 and Maddie from Planning and Development Department. You all may still be wondering what our role is. Basically, we ask us tough questions to learn how it works, framework and elements of the community to make it a better place. We spread knowledge and explain the facts and try to build up the neighborhood by providing information. We brainstorm, find ideas, opinions, and solutions, and bring our ideas to the table. We also got to hear from other perspectives with Miss Linda Campbell from the Detroit People's Platform.
Could you please state your name and your job?
Yes, my name is Linda Campbell, and I am with the Detroit People's Platform. We are organizing an advocacy group based here in the city of Detroit. You know, we talk with folks, we engage, just pretty much like what you all are doing. You're doing a form of advocacy. You go out, you listen, you talk with community, you work deeply to understand their issues, and then you, with community, you put together an agenda of what you want to see happen or change in your community, and that becomes your advocacy agenda. And so you start talking to the key decision makers and people who can actually, who have the power and the resources to make that change happen that you want to see. And you understand how difficult it is to get people who hold power to change the way they do things, right? If you're a good community organizer, a public advocate, you should expect disruption and you should expect pushback from the community. If you go into a community and there's no pushback and no disruption, then that's a community that 9 times out of 10 is not organized and probably doesn't have a lot of investment in what's happening in their community. It's up to you as an organizer or an advocate to build those relationships with the community so that you understand where community is coming from and you give them their due. You allow them to have power and voice in the decision making. The tools and the skills that you need in order to get them to hear and listen to you, it depends. Some some things they'll go along with, you know. It depends how much what you want challenges what somebody else want who may have more power for the moment than you do. So the organized voice, you got to be organized. It just can't be one or two people. You got to be organized. You've got to have an agenda. You have to have an advocacy agenda, and you have to be in it for the long haul. You know, letting them know you're unhappy with the way things are, registering your complaints, but also coming up with a recommendation. Then you have to build a strategy to get them to move to do it. And that means showing up and staying engaged around the issue. Over time. It's not going to happen in 2 meetings. Over time.
She shared how the city taxes should go towards things that are useful, like investigating in affordable housing, not building skyscrapers and stadiums. I think that the city is sometimes spending money on things that don't need attention. Okay. Wait. Being hired to join with the Cody Rouge Youth Council, I played a big role. I get the chance to bring youth perspectives to the table and put ideas out for the youth. Sometimes I feel that the youth don't always get a say. We usually get things decided for us. But we came and demanded a say for our community. Sometimes it's really hard to get adults to listen to us, but I think we tried and succeeded on that. And not only are we helping the youth, but we are also helping around the community. Using the information we gather, we want to help to make this neighborhood a better place. This was just a quick overview of this project so far. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask them at the end of this presentation. Also, if you want to join us on this neighborhood framework, feel free to sign up at the table in the back. For now, let's hear from Lily and Yusuf about streets and getting around.
So the bench I am sitting on is a bench that I helped build in the project called Project No Stand Zone.
Right now, the place where we're at is Henderson Middle School and Elementary. I used to go to this school 6th and 5th grade. My little brother, he actually goes here now. He's in kindergarten. And, you know, it's a special place to me because, like, I had a lot of experience here, like, during the summer and school year. And, you know, like, being that my little brother goes here, I come up here a lot, too. And it's just, like, this is one of the places in the neighborhood where it's starting to get a little nicer. And, like, I hope that this is, like, a place where people can look at and say, well, if we could do that with Henderson, we could do that anywhere else, too.
Well, we're on Ashton and Van Buren. Right behind me, you could see a vacant lot and maybe a vacant house that was caught on fire. Not sure. Looks so. It's very common. If you look down there, there's a vacant house, and these 2 vacant houses are side by side. There's trash all over the floor, and you could see a vacant garage right over there. And the roads are so bumpy. This road condition is actually okay, but it's bumpy. If you go on different streets, there's going to be cracks everywhere. It looked like there was an earthquake on that street. Take it from me.
We're in the River Rouge area, and we wanted to show the parks, the hills, and it's the hill over there. And it's like on the other side of River Rouge is animals, like horses and many more, and swimming pools on the other side.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Yusuf, and next to me is Lily. Say hi, Lily.
Hi. Okay, here's what I know about streets and getting around. When I'm on the sidewalk, I tend to get in the street because there is no room, and I don't like walking near abandoned houses.
I know a little bit about cars and trucks, and if you see here, my elegant piece of drawing. So this is a video clip of us driving down Warren Avenue like other Warrendale people do. And there's always so many potholes, and there's cracks. It gets so rough on the road. And plus people drive too quick. It's dangerous.
I agree. I had 3 childhood friends died from an accident. Just like this person said, I'm very scary when it comes to crossing the street.
Wow, really? I'm very sorry to hear that. We need to allow more time for the pedestrians to cross because there's not enough time for elderly and young youth to cross the streets. This is a 6th grader at Carver. Also thinks that the streets and sidewalks are kind of dangerous to walk on.
Growing up near the railroads, it was kind of fun. Near Rutland and Longacre, used to do dangerous stuff on the tracks, but I didn't think it was dangerous.
So here in Detroit, we got some of the nicest sidewalks we got. No, we don't. We really don't. But we do have some nice stuff. And in wintertime, you all know, when it snows, the snow makes the trees look very nice and sometimes looks like a winter wonderland. Well, in 2016, there was a survey going on about top 3 most safety priorities. And the 3rd one was speeding. That's more worse than gang and drug activity.
We saw this map of all the car crashes shown. The black dots are the crashes in Warrendale and Cody Rouge in 2017.
Well, that's a lot of crashes if I don't say so myself, and I do say so myself. But we wanted to know who could we talk to find who can tell us about streets and who could tell us more about fixing them.
So my name is Richard Doherty. I'm a city engineer for the city of Detroit. City engineer is the division head of the city engineering division, and we are a part of the Department of Public Works. We are the stewards of the public right-of-way. That anybody who wants to work on our roads needs to come to us and get a right-of-way permit to do the work in the right-of-way. If they want to alter the right-of-way in any way, or if they want to build in it, like permanent structures and that, then they have to go through a petition process to either close a road, vacate the right-of-way for the road, vacate an alley. So they file a petition with the city clerk, and then we process it to see if anybody else in the right-of-way may have objections to it. There's water mains underground, there's sewer lines, there's gas lines, the telecommunication lines are under there, so they all get to respond to any concerns.
Okay, Richard told us he told us a whole lot more than we could take in. That's why I'm glad that Taylor asked him to break it down into a non-expert language.
Would you mind explaining that in a way where someone who doesn't have knowledge in your work field might be able to understand it?
So you own the land on your property, and then usually, like if your house you own to typically a foot behind the city sidewalk, and then the sidewalk that is in front of your house is in city property, and the road is, and then the sidewalk on the other side of the street. Usually everything between the 2 sidewalks the city owns, so that everybody can access and get around the city. So public right-of-way is the means by which the public gets to move around and not be blocked. So that it's important to have streets and walkways that connect us all together, and so that public space ends up being owned by somebody, and we end up managing it.
So this is the desk where Mr. Doherty oversees all the streets and right-of-ways.
Rich knew a lot about streets, even more than Yusuf does.
So yes, we've got 2,600 miles of streets throughout the city of Detroit. So we have almost 1,900 miles of residential streets. We have 700 miles of what's categorized major roads. Now, sometimes major roads don't look very major, but that's just a form of category. So for the major roads, the important thing to know is that we're not the only owner of the roads. That there's like the state, for example, owns Southfield. So Southfield Freeway is owned and maintained by MDOT. It's theirs to manage. We manage the service drives along the freeway, so we're responsible for resurfacing those. Outer Drive is a county road, so the Wayne County Road Commission, or the road department, is responsible for the condition of that road. Warren in this area is also owned by the county, so that's kind of how I make sure that we are doing our work. This is what the state, we have to certify each year to the state what roads we own, and the county does the same thing. So
Mr. Doherty underlined how he doesn't take care of all the streets and that different roads are owned by different governments.
Here's a map where the government owns which roads. We'll be happy to share with you. There are some complicated things that does not show, like the state government owns the land under Southfield Freeway Service Road, but the city agrees to maintain them. Anyhow, later in our interview, the city engineer took us into detail how roads is built.
there's a whole lot of ways that a road can deteriorate. The concrete and water is the biggest enemy to a road that you can have. So you pour the concrete and there's joints between the concrete. The joints have to be there because concrete expands and contracts with the change in temperature. So if you just pour a big thing of concrete out, it's going to turn to gravel very quickly because when the sun heats it up, it wants to push against each other. And if you don't have that joint, that little space in between for that concrete to move, it just beats itself up and turns to gravel. If your home is 90 years old and that street in front of your house was probably constructed 90 years ago. So, concrete's only supposed to last 30 years. And so we've gone through and resurfaced the streets probably as many times as we possibly can. But so we're going to have some tough choices to make going forward because at some point somebody's got to pay to rebuild the streets.
And this led to some interesting exchanges like comparing downtown streets to west side neighborhood streets.
Most of the downtown streets are categorized as major roads, so the state gives us more money per mile than they do for a residential street. It's about 10 times more money or more.
Some people might say that you would focus on more populated areas or more places that bring in more revenue, like downtown and stuff. Mm-hmm. Is that true, or are you more focused on neighborhoods like this?
We are focused on the entire city. Then we try to serve. Obviously, on residential streets, we like to, we want to be able to pave everywhere, but we just don't, like I said, we don't have the resources. Every year we're doing 45 or 50 miles of streets out of 1,800. So we try to focus on those streets that are more populated just so that more people benefit from the investment. If a street's only got 2 homes left on it, it really, it costs us $700,000 a mile to pave a road. So, when you have those limited resources, you do have to make those type of hard choices.
But we were really there to talk about how we felt walking around the neighborhood, especially as little kids, felt really dangerous because of all the speeding cars. I mean, people drive 40 or 50 in a 25 zone.
We heard some similar comments when we interviewed Ms. Campbell at the Cody Rouge Alliance.
There's a lot of speeding through our communities, and again, safety is something that's important to our community. We want to make sure that families are safe. So one of the ideas was to create like speed bumps or kind of create a way where it would kind of slow down the traffic of speeding cars.
We wondered if these ratings related to how people, and especially young people, experience getting around the neighborhood. So we asked Mr. Doherty about it.
Can you get a little bit more into depth of how we can make the roads safer? Because here on the graph, it shows where each black dot is when a crash occurs, a car accident occurs. Do you think all the changes you were planning on making with the streets in Detroit, do you think it will be able to fix our problems, like the safety issues in Detroit? Because from the households that are in the neighborhoods, they feel like these issues with the roads are more dangerous than drug activity and gang activity in the area. So
okay.
I wanted your opinion on that.
All right, so let's see. Car speeding through the neighborhood. Detroit, when it was built years ago, you can see how it was built. Long, straight streets and nice grid pattern. It's easy to construct, but it's also easy to drive very fast on those streets. So how do you slow people down? There's a lot of things you can do. You can do what's called traffic calming projects. You can narrow a road down. That's called a road diet, When you're taking a road that has 5 lanes, you want to narrow it down to a 3-lane road. That you can add speed humps, speed bumps, speed cushions. So you can add curb, have the curb narrow a little bit so it looks like it's getting tighter. So cars, by nature, they're going to slow down because they think they see a driver thinks they see a conflict ahead. But the speed humps kind of force you to slow down with, hopefully without losing your muffler and causing damage to your car. Speed bumps are far narrower. The speed hump is about 14 feet long, so you kind of roll over it and roll back, but it will cause you to slow down. On commercial streets, on big streets, we're trying to look at how we can help get pedestrians across safer. So at intersections, we may move the curb line out and out past where the parked cars are, so that that walk across the street is now 16 feet shorter. It's not as hard to get through, and then when you see that curb line out, cars tend to slow down. When you have just that whole strip of parking area that people don't necessarily park in, cars tend to go faster. So you can do things in design to make it safer, to get people driving slower, more responsibly, to minimize the conflicts between pedestrians and cars, to make it it's more of a complete street, it's called, where all users can enjoy the road, from bikes to buses to cars to pedestrians, that we provide safety for them. Lead agency for that is our traffic engineering division. Each year they get grants to focus on safety projects.
This is a speed hump.
This is a neck down where the curb narrows, like Mr. Doherty said.
We showed him some examples of changing the roads to make people drive slower and asked him how we might get some similar changes.
He talked about all the complex steps to making the streets safer, like speed bumps, narrow roads.
We found this proposal designed by Joy Southfield CDC for Joy Road and Arch City. And do you think would it improve the streets?
Rich did explain, though it sounded complicated, how we could use the neighborhood framework to request changes to the streets.
We asked him what's the process of designing a street?
What are the rules or process for changing a street? Like if we wanted to change it into a place to hang out, or like paint, or just do something creative like they did in Oregon.
So if you wanted to do something on the street as a private citizen, you'd have to, if you want to put something in the road like this that's unique, we'd ask that the neighborhood kind of sponsor it, that your neighbors, people don't want things in front of their house that they view as ugly or unattractive. You kind of want everybody on board to do the same thing. And if this type of work is being done by some third party or something, if you're doing it as a group, we'd ask you that you petition us. We reach out to city council, go through this petition process, so council says yes, go ahead and allow them to place it here. Obviously there's, you think painting the road, that's not going to create an issue, but if that paint, if it doesn't have certain characteristics where when it rains, it's not going to be slick and unsafe for either people to walk on it or cars to drive on it. We had somebody come do the painting out in Spirit Plaza, and there's this gritty sand that's mixed in with the paint so that it's rough enough so that feet don't slide on it and that. So you need a lot of that technical expertise, but we guide you through the process with it for the petition. So if you wanted to do this yourself, all we would ask that there's an organization that can maintain it, that that in 6 months, if the paint starts failing or fading and looking lousy, that you're going to come back and refresh it and make it look good. So we kind of sign an agreement with you to maintain it. It's a maintenance agreement.
Rich even opened up us about some of the frustration of his job and how the government sometimes has disagreement inside itself between different agencies, just like this neighborhood.
Some days it's a little frustrating because you're kind of herding cats a lot of times. There's a lot of competing interests, and obviously I manage one division out of a huge governmental apparatus that, you have within I'm city engineering that sits within Department of Public Works, but then the planning department, obviously they have their own focus and things that they're trying to achieve, and sometimes their interests may be different than ours, but we have to work together so that the public, at the end, we're serving the public's interest to the best of our ability. So they may think that there's a different approach to doing it, so you always have those debates, but like I said, I'm quite a few notches down from the mayor where everything's his responsibility.
It was interesting to know how sometimes the planning and the development department has different views than the Department of Public Works.
Here is the view of Canada out of his office. Beautiful, isn't it?
So for the next year with the neighborhood framework, I think as a community, we should come together to figure out how we can make sure we bring these changes to make roads safer. It sounds complex, but I think we can do it.
I think we can.
I would like to pass the mic to Marnisha and Skylar.
This is Stein Playground. It didn't used to look like this. This was a big part of my life because like I could see my creations coming to life, and I really liked it. I was working with a group of adults that thought I didn't know what I was doing until they gave me the tools, and they decided to put the slide on backwards. And I told them before to put it on the right way. They ain't want to listen to me until the main people that work here told them it's on backwards. So I stopped helping them after that, and I went to go help out somebody else on the swings.
Well, this is West Chicago over here, and this is St. Suzanne, and it's a very known community building. We do a lot of programs in it. I go to school here, and I work here, and I have another program that I do here, so there's a lot of things going on in this.
The place that we are right now is Joy Road and Southfield. Like, what you want to know about it?
How do you feel? Is this a safe corner? What's the history of this area?
Well, if you can see, the murder back behind us is not a very safe place. I really don't know much about Joy Road because I never could go to Joy Road. Actually, I never crossed the train tracks. So,
hey. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Hi. I am Skylar Pounds.
And my name is Marnisha Davenport.
Okay. How many of you are concerned about the quality of houses and properties in our neighborhood? Most of you, right? Okay, it's some good blocks in our neighborhood. The lawns are made up. There are places for little kids to play. These houses might be small, but the people that live inside keep them up to par and keep them really nice. Where I live is good because I'm closer to my family. I live by a grocery store, a laundromat, and my school is down the street. So basically, everything is accessible, and I can walk in distance. But there's also bad blocks too, such as trash is on the ground, and the buildings are abandoned, like the houses and stuff are boarded up.
Where I live, our landlord came out not too long ago and we showed him the walls and how they've fallen apart. Ever since then, he just keeps asking and never fixes anything. He comes around only when the bills have to be paid. Actually, I don't even know that our landlord lives near us. I also see a lot of abandoned houses getting knocked down in our neighborhood, but some just stay that way for a long time.
Once we became neighborhood investigators, we went around, asked questions, and learned about why the houses and properties in our neighborhoods are this way.
We asked questions like, who decides to knock down houses and keep them up?
Why are houses in our community owned by slumlords? Why do we have to keep paying high rent for bad houses?
Do we think our homes are safe for kids and teenagers?
Well, this map here is interesting because it shows that the black marks are owned by people outside of our neighborhood. Nearly half of our neighborhood are owned by people or companies not in our zip code.
And our houses are old. This map shows the most of the buildings in our neighborhoods are built sometimes in 40s and 50s.
Besides looking at mini maps, we reached out to people who know a lot about houses and apartments, like Mr. Rod Liggins and Miss Megan McGreal. They are DLBA, also known as the Detroit Land Bank Authority.
Detroit Land Bank Authority, we oversee the city's residential properties. Currently, the city has about 95,000, just under 95,000 parcels of land, and we're the largest land bank in the state and probably even in the country. The land bank came about because there was a need to have all of the city's residential properties in one location. And we were staffed. We started out 5 years ago. There was maybe 30, 35 employees here. We have over 150 now because we had gone from maybe 17,000 to, like I said before, up to 95,000. Our primary focus is making sure the properties that are salvageable are put back into productive use. Side lots, the vacant lots next to somebody's home, we sell for $100. It doesn't sound like a lot. We get about $50 each a year in property taxes. As of today, we've sold 11,068 side lots. That's over $550,000 now coming into the city by way of property taxes that was not there before. The same with the houses. Once we get a house torn down that's blighted, property values go up anywhere from 4 to 7% that day. And they only continue to increase. Between 2013 and 18, property values in Detroit, not downtown or midtown, but in the neighborhoods, have increased by 97%. So these are things that we try to let people know that it's a powerful thing to own your own home. It's great to live here and rent. We have great landlords, but we also have some problems with slumlords, and they don't really take care of their properties, but they're always collecting money. We would rather have those tenants become homeowners, and the way we do that is make the houses available through our sales programs. We would be considered what's called quasi-government, which means that we would be beholden and we're under the authority of the mayor, quasi-government. And that's what I'm explaining. Give me a second. Quasi-government means you're not exactly a city or government department, but that's where your funding comes from. That's where your rulings come from. We work very closely with the mayor as well as the city council in the city of Detroit. They have authorization over, we have a board of directors and we have an executive director, but we take our direct leadership from the mayor's office because this is a strong mayoral-run city.
They told us about the DLBA owns one of 5 houses and properties in our neighborhood.
This is what we do every day. The first thing I would ask them is if they're tenants to just add up the amount of money they pay in rent. And the fact that they're paying money to someone else for the privilege of living in their house as opposed to owning their own. Like I said before, if you want to paint the walls, you have to get permission. You want to hang a picture or change the carpet, you have to get permission. You don't do that in your own. And having a home of your own is equity. Now we know these houses need a lot of work, and we let them know beforehand. We even let them know there are lenders on our website that will help them fund a purchase and rehab of a house. But we make no mistake, we know this is a heavy lift. It's going to take some work. And we have Detroit contractors. We just had a contractor workshop just last Saturday where we're trying to get Detroit contractors work. You don't have to go outside of the city to get roofers and people that can do plumbing and electrical work. So we see this as not just putting the house back into productive use, but we're creating jobs, we're creating new homeowners, and we're stabilizing neighborhoods. When people are moving in and out from tenant to tenant to tenant, you don't know who's moving in there. But if somebody has bought it and they decide to live there, that becomes a much stabilized neighborhood.
We also visited Building Safety and Engineering and Environmental Departments, known as BC. There we met Arthur Edge, who is in charge of making sure that houses and properties are demolished safely.
My name is Arthur Leon Edge. I am a supervisor for the City of Detroit Building Safety Environmental Engineering Division, Dangerous Buildings. I am responsible for the blight that is here in our city, and it's making a difference as far as making it safe for young people like you. I'm much older than you all. When I was your age, I'd never seen an abandoned building. When I drive around Detroit, I see there are some communities that are blighted, and I feel that it is my responsibility to make the difference in that, to help get this cleaned up. I take it personally when I see some of these blighted areas. I take it personally because it's my job, first of all, and I think about the people that are living in that community. So it's my job to get it cleaned up to make it safe for them. I was out there in the streets and I seen it for myself every day. Bodies, drug addicts that have OD'd in the house.
Okay. Why do you think there's so many abandoned buildings in Detroit?
Well, it's many things. One of the main issues was, if we go back with the foreclosure issues, people walked away from their homes. Then there was a lot of blight that people have stripped homes. And those were the main two issues. And then we naturally have some fires, cases of fires. But the main thing is that a few years ago we had a foreclosure problem and a lot of people walked away from their homes.
So for the next year with our neighborhood framework, we should learn more about how the land bank works because the rules can be very complicated.
And we should give better support to small neighborhood developers and contractors who are trying to buy houses and fix them up around our neighborhoods. And maybe young people can be a part of this too.
We could help fix the porches, earn some money during it, while gaining building business skills. What if at the end of the project we are ready to start our own porch fixing business?
And from our investigation, we learned housing problems are way complex and there's a lot to learn. Ms. Linda Campbell broke it down for us a little bit.
We believe that all Detroiters have a right to quality and affordable housing based on their income. What's very important for individuals and families is that you have stable quality housing. And if you're afraid that your rent will increase or your rent is increasing, you're facing the threat of eviction and you're having to move all the time, that's really disruptive to a family. So we see quality affordable housing is key. We think that blight is important, but we have to look at what the root cause of blight is. Why are there so many blighted homes in our communities? And a lot of that has to do with the housing policies, right? People can't afford their homes. Many of them lost their homes through no fault of their own. And so we're left, you all are left to walk by there every day on your way to school or to the bus stop and look at that when actually a lot of that was caused by institutions, financial institutions, based on greed, who targeted people for corrupt mortgages. And people weren't able to pay them because people wanted homes, right? So yes, people are going to take advantage of what they think is a good opportunity, only to find out later on they were sold a bill of goods. So it's a very sad situation in terms of why blight exists in our neighborhood. A lot of times we just focus on the what, like all these messed up houses in my neighborhood, but we don't really say why. Why are there so many messed up neighborhoods in our neighborhood, houses in our neighborhoods? Understanding the why of why there's so many vacancies and blighted homes in our community, and even now who continues to benefit from that situation. You always have to ask yourself why a situation exists and who's benefiting. Who's benefiting from this condition in our community? And that helps you kind of dig deeper and helps you to develop an analysis and an understanding. So it's just not talking about the what, which is pretty apparent to all of us. We see the what all around us, but the why.
So if you're interested in discussing more about houses, apartments, or properties in our neighborhood,
you better contact public discussion. We have tables where you can sign up back there.
People in this neighborhood, they kind of don't know what we doing. They just see a group of teenagers walking with papers in their hand or helping out. They just like, oh, all right.
So investigating the neighborhood framework has been kind of challenging.
The businesses on Warren, I didn't really used to go to those restaurants or that bakery, and I went today and it was actually good food and their donuts. I haven't tasted it yet, but they looked good, so.
It's been cool. I like it. This has been a great experience for me because I feel like I got the chance to work with some really cool people and learn some things that I didn't really know about before and learn things about the neighborhood that I didn't know about. So I feel like I'm really glad that I got the chance to do this. As far as like the things we've been doing, it's been cool, I guess. It's just I wish that we could have got more people involved, like more like youth, because like right now it's only 9 of us. But I think during the summer we'll get the chance to like have more people come in.
So technically, what we have to do is find out what they do, and if they're doing it, and if they're not doing it, see how can they do it better, or how can we tell the neighborhood about them so they can concern their complaints with them.
The best part about the neighborhood framework is getting a chance to talk to adults and also getting a chance to hear our voice be heard.
Best part is you don't see teenagers like me doing what I'm doing every day, talking to big people, well, people with a name.
We have been interviewing a lot of people that's in charge of the roads, the community, the businesses, and a lot of smaller things like the parks. Well, that's a big thing, but small. And the lights.
Talking to people that act like we don't know what we're talking about or we don't know what we're doing. Basically, like, as people always say, and it's true, adults don't treat kids or teenagers like they have a bigger mind than they do. Because people think just because they older than us, their minds develop. When it's like, I can easily outsmart an adult. It's pretty much easy for me. Like, adults always try to cut me off when I know what I'm talking about because they get mad at me for that. So that's pretty much what it's been like with us interviewing these people. They try to cut it short instead of when we start picking at their ribs, they don't want to start answering. They want to start getting quiet. So we like that, even though that's the worst part. We like getting on their nerve a little bit.
Hi, my name is LaKendra.
And I am Khadija. We grew up here in the Cody Rouge and Warrendale neighborhood. Some of the young people in this neighborhood walk and go shop in neighborhood stores. People who don't drive or elderly people use nearby stores like the laundromat, dollar store, and grocery stores. These stores are not perfect. They have trash all over the sidewalks, and you usually see people just hanging around outside, which is not nice or safe, because you never know what the people are there for or what their plan is to do.
There are many creative people with good ideas that are running small business out of their homes. Catering, cleaning, childcare, little candy stores. But often they have no license, and that's a problem. That can't happen.
We were curious if there is anyone who is working to help our neighborhood businesses. Moana Ali gave us the leads to talk to Brianna Walker. We reached out to Brianna. Brianna is the District 7 Alliance for Detroit Economic Growth Corporation, aka DEGC, which is a citywide agency for supporting businesses.
We also met Brianna Walker at Family Bakery on Warren Avenue. We sat and talked, and she told us about what she do, how she do it. And she took us around and showed us the different stores that she worked with. And she showed us a computer repair store, a donut shop. The owners of all those stores said it's been great working with Brianna. And the donuts at Shane's Morning Bakery was amazing. They were good, I'm sorry. You should visit it, help the money in the community. It helps keep money in the community by visiting those stores in your community. Also, Brianna has been working with small business like these in our neighborhoods to help them with things like license fees, safety, permits, and inspections. And she is doing an amazing job. The businesses love her, She also talks about DEGC programs like Motor City Match, where they help start new businesses and vacant stores.
So for the next year with Neighborhood Framework, I think as a community we should try to figure out how we can bring more support like this and even bigger ones to our businesses. Because fixing the front of the stores is nice, but sometimes they need help fixing bigger building or equipment problems inside the stores too.
Talking to Brianna made me think we should figure out how to encourage people, you guys. Encourage you guys to use neighborhood businesses and not always go outside your neighborhoods to shop or eat. Because here's the problem. Our neighborhoods are not the best because of us. We are going broke because we are not giving back to our communities. So I think the ones that are helping and doing things that put into the community, but for the ones that are not, but if you're unable to, it's okay. But for the ones that are not and healthy, I think you guys should start. I'm saying it nicely. We also need to help young people that is trying to start a business by preparing them with the city resources and more people that have done it already. So let's help them make money off of something they love to do. And there's a table in the back so you can go and get the things we need. That is me nicely asking.
It's been great interviewing the Neighborhood Framework because the writing also like learning new things.
My favorite thing has been learning more about filming and photography, things like that. You know, because I've always been interested in those kind of things, but like with the help of Jay and Damon, like I've learned a lot that I didn't know before, like how to set up a camera and like the different features on the camera.
The worst parts is like boring interviewing other people, like how they don't explain more of what they send.
Investigating for the Neighborhood Framework, I can say it's been pretty great. Interviewing different people and like Detroit workers and like top Detroit workers, like going to the Comey Young Center. It's been like a good experience and talking to them and getting information about like their different jobs.
We get to get a point of view of people that we never met before and the people that's behind the stuff that's actually a part of what makes Detroit Detroit. So we met people that works on blighted houses, people that fix the potholes, people that go and investigate the houses to tell the people that demolished the houses was wrong with it. So it's like, okay. But most of the time, even though they say they do all this stuff, as long as I've been alive, same houses that's been boarded up still ain't been demolished. You just got houses with boards on them saying we'll fix it eventually on there. So it's pretty much like, what they gonna do about it?
Seeing how bad some parts of the neighborhood are, like the abandoned houses, all the trash, you know, seeing like all the messed up parts and things like that, and knowing that like it's not really anything that people have done about it, that's like kind of been the hardest part.
I really enjoy it. I just like doing something activity. I like doing something active. It's very fun. I really enjoy it. The best part is going around and interviewing some famous people in Detroit. Worst part? Well, I can't say there's a worst part because I've not found one yet.
Me being the person I am, I'm really shy when I really don't know you, so I had to get used to talking to different people and like opening up and like interviewing. So like that was one of the worst parts for me personally, which was opening up and talking to different people. The different buildings that are around here, like before this, I'd never been like on that side of West Chicago before. So, you know, learning about St. Suzanne and things like that.
Worst parts is I lost some of my time, but I wouldn't say lost. I would say I put it to something different than I usually do. So instead of like hanging around with friends and stuff, I actually was getting to know my community more and actually seeing what we need changes, and actually opened my mind to a lot of things like the roads, yes, they're concerns, but I never had the opportunity to actually express those with the people that's in charge so they can fix it. So now I do, so I think, yeah.
Good evening, good evening. Are y'all enjoying yourselves tonight so far? That's good, that's good. My name is Alexia Stoner, and tonight I'll be talking to y'all about making Cody Rouge and Warrendale the best places for young people. So in this picture is a picture of McDonald's. Do any of y'all know where this McDonald's is located? I hope y'all all do. So as y'all know, if y'all ever seen like teens be super packed at this McDonald's, inside the McDonald's and outside the McDonald's. And this could prove that there's not a lot of places for young people to go to hang out, so they just decide to pile up in the McDonald's even if they don't buy anything. This is a picture of Henderson Park. As you can see in the picture, Henderson really got like a whole field of stuff and really don't have no playground except for like one little playground. So there's not much to do there. So a lot of kids do not go to there because there's really nothing to do. This is a picture of Stein Park. Recently in October, I helped a team of volunteers as well as Kaboom rebuild Stein Park for people ages, like younger ages as well as teenagers, to have things to do for all ages, pretty much. Okay. This is also a picture of Stein Park. As you can see in the picture, we have all this field area and we have this sad, lonely, incomplete sidewalk. Do y'all like our incomplete sidewalks? Do y'all like walking in the grass or in the street to get where you have to go? So what if we had wider sidewalks? Sidewalks in all the areas where we wouldn't just have to walk on a little incomplete sidewalk or walk in the street or walk in the grass. Like, who wants to do that? Exactly, exactly. This is a picture of Rouge Park. Rouge Park is the largest parks in Detroit. This is also a picture of Rouge Park. Rouge Park have a horse thing, so if y'all like riding horses, I advise y'all to go there. This is a picture of Seminec Park. So Seminec Park have abandoned houses by it, abandoned fields, abandoned cars, and a lot of parents don't like their kids being surrounded around that type of things because that's like a bad environment. Who would want their kids to play in that type of area when there's so much negativity going on around it? Because I would not want my kid playing around that stuff. Okay, this is a picture of the Detroit Public Library. I heard that it have great programs aside for the youth, and I heard they do a lot like poetry and so on, so I advise y'all to check it out. Okay, this is a picture of the Boys and Girls Club, which we are in now, which is a place for youth and teens to come after school to get help with their homework, have fun with some games, and so on. Okay, going back to the first slide, as I was saying that there's not a lot of things for the teens to do, what if we had like outdoor performing stage for teens to perform and, you know, show their talents? Tying to that, I have a short written piece that I wrote that I'm saying now. We see a lot of red. We hear a lot of hot firing bullets. We all get those heartbreaking calls stating that our loved ones are gone. We all see the streets that's not even safe to drive on. Streets that's not even safe to walk across. Speeding drivers becoming sudden killers. What do we have to do to make the D more safe? Y'all say y'all want better. Well, let me see y'all actions. Let me hear y'all voice that have power. Let's have better education so there will be more graduates and less dropouts. Let us have programs that explores youth talents. Let us have more businesses in the area so we won't have to go out to the suburbs. Let us have better parks where the grass is cut low and don't stand high. A park with play sets that are new and not old. A park for all ages and not just one. If I told you you could better your community, would you do it? You have the power in your hands. Use the power that you have to make your community the way you want it, that you thought could only happen in your dreams. Make a change in your community. Make a change in the D. Thank you. And with that being said, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And with that being said, I'm going to now pass the mic to Rodney.
So one thing that I think that the investigation found so far that will be useful in the next year or so is how to get rid of abandoned houses. I learned about blighted houses with the interview with Mr. Edge. It makes kids feel unsafe, and kids witness a lot of things happening in abandoned houses, such as drugs being sold from abandoned houses and people going in there. And it also makes children scared to walk past on their way to school as well.
I wish that, we had the space to get more than just 10 members. Like, it could be something like a whole team of us with like our own building. I wish to see that one day and get a lot of teenagers to join.
We talked about team building spaces, and they said we were able to do that. We just got to buy our own land. I did this interview with Brianna Walker, and she was talking about how we should spend our money in the community so it can stay in the community, other than going to Walmart and stuff like that, which is going to like govern more other things that are not the community. So if we spend money in the community, it stays in the community and it cycles, and we can get a lot of things fixed and done and get better. But I guess people don't understand that, or it's like they don't understand that it's like more things if they actually look around.
It exists, but not in a way where a lot of people know about it, and it's not really that many opportunities for people to get to know about it,
I would say we got voices too, and at this point we're not even kids, like we're all adults here, and we're just making the same decisions, like agreeing and disagreeing on what we want, because we're going to have to live here for another 40 to 50 years.
Like Arthur Edge and how he's working with how he's the director of dangerous buildings and things like that.
What I had learned about it was about the housing mostly, because that's all we really talk about in like the community, and how can we make it better and like clean up certain areas.
Beautiful houses, aren't they?
DLBA, Detroit Land Bank Authority. I don't really know many people around here. The people that I do know, like I've been to school with, but it's like kind of hard to get to know people around here because, not everybody is as like out there, I guess. Like my dad used to tell me stories about how when he lived here, when he was a kid, he used to know like almost everybody in the neighborhood. And I feel like it's kind of sad that it's not the same anymore, People really only talk to each other when they have something to complain about, really. So, but besides that, it's a pretty nice neighborhood. Not a lot of things happen around here, so I can't really complain like that. They can all come together with like each of their problems and, talk about like the different stuff that they want to see. Not like a protest, but like when they gather all their information, they could go talk to someone like at the Coleman Young Center and see if they could get a change or something better.
How y'all doing today? My name is Rodney Bridges. First of all, where's my family? Family, where you at? Hey. Without them, especially my pops, I will not be here today at all. I'll just be in the bed asleep. They my biggest supporters, and I love them for that. Always will. First and foremost, how many of y'all ever tripped on the sidewalk when y'all was younger or recently? How many of y'all? That's a lot of y'all. Long story short, I was over at my grandma's house on Prairie. Ice cream truck was coming down the street. You already know I asked her for $1. Got my vanilla cone. I'm walking back to her house. I swear, I did not see the crack in the sidewalk. Long story short, I lost my ice cream. I know, it's sad, it sucks. How many of y'all still ride bikes? Any bike riders still in here? There's a lot of y'all, yeah. It's a beautiful bike trail on 5 Mile in Meadowbrook. as you can see right there. The problem with it is, y'all see how the streets kind of cut into two lanes, even though it's like four spaces. People still tend to ride on the street, even though it's a sidewalk over there. But as you can see that trail, that's what I want to talk about for a minute. Over there is a bridge, and there's lots of scenery with the trees and the water, even though it kind of look brown. It's still kind of just a little peaceful. And wouldn't that be nice if we had more of those over here in Cody Rouge? Yeah. Let's see, let's get to the juicy stuff. We've been starting on this project for 10 weeks, so that's since Valentine's Day. So let's clap that up one more time. We ain't give up. No quitters, no quitters. We are in the planning phase. We have more public discussions in May and June. You know, that's what the back of tables are for. If y'all want to help us with public discussions and neighborhood framework. And also in June, we were building tables, picnic tables. We like to see a lot more of y'all come out too. That would really make me happy. We have a get together in July. Also, it's gonna be food, benches, of course. We're gonna have drinks, soft drinks. We don't want y'all drinking beer. We got balloons, and y'all gonna see my face, of course. In July and August, we're gonna be working with Go Detroit Young Talent. That's the program which, if you have nieces, nephews, daughters, sons, 14 and older, 14 to 24 actually, they can get an opportunity to get a job just like us. And we like to see more teenagers out here picking up, phone calls and put it on that polo shirt so they can help, y'all with y'all bills. We're here today. We're gathered with y'all today because at first we wouldn't even be doing this right now if it wasn't for Damon and Jay. They really stepped up to the plate and got this started. At first, we would have been right there at Don Bosco Hall in a tiny little room, but today we stand in front of 60 of y'all? That's a big step. I'm nervous too. And to get where we are in the future, we also have to talk to more board members. So of course, with the building, the benches and concrete on the, in front of houses and parks, we have to get more teams. We have to talk to the mayor's office, more city members, so we can actually get started on this stuff. Because non-group of teenagers can do it, but we still need permission to do it, And how many of y'all watch football? No football watchers? Oh, there's a few of y'all. This how we set it up as a football, little play. So as you can see, with the streets and getting around, we have to go through a couple quarterbacks. I know it look weird, it's 5 quarterbacks, but we got to go through the deputy, the Department of Neighborhoods. And for us to get more streets and more transportation for us, we have to talk to Department of Public Works, Wayne County Road Department, Michigan Department of Transportation, Detroit Department of Transportation. So to get in the future, we have to go through all this other stuff, So it's a long process, so I want y'all to stick with us through that. I really appreciate that. And what y'all can do for me, I know they always said it through the other presentation. I'm going to say it again. The back table's right there. If y'all want to help us out with public discussion and neighborhood framework, make your way, run, crawl, walk, jump, skip, flip. Get back there and help us out. Thank you all for coming out. We really appreciate it.
We have a lot of young business owners, and they're struggling for help and good groups, and they need their license. So I heard that is a lot to keep up with a business, and I feel like they can benefit from these programs if they knew about it. And we need more businesses in our community, because more businesses, more money, more happy people.
More opportunities for people to get together. So annual get-togethers, parties where we rent some things like bounce house and stuff, and we just come together and try to clean up the neighborhood, things like that. And even just people going out to their neighbor houses and just saying hi and stuff, things like that.
Yeah, I'm happy that adults giving teenagers opportunity to be adults and take a bigger responsibility. I really like that. I don't feel alone in this at all, because it's a group of teenagers that like doing what I do. If they didn't like it, why would we keep showing up every week?
The thing that I hope for the most to get out of this is a place for people between the ages of maybe 9 and 18 or 19 to have a place where they can go to learn more about this, but also to work on the things they're passionate about. Like, say for instance, if somebody wants to learn how to play the guitar, they can have somewhere where they can like practice that, a safe place for us to come together and do stuff like that, but also learn more about our community, like just a place for the community to come together and like have somewhere that they can, you know, just like relax and like have fun and stuff, but also like learn how to make their community a better place.
The city doesn't own all the roads. There's the county roads and there's the state roads. Warren Avenue, owned by county. Joy, owned by county. There's roughly over 1,800 miles of residential street, like you can see right here. If you want some street like this one, you could see a small pothole there. You would like to go to the Department of Public Works. So you would speak to Richard Doherty. He's the head of all this stuff.
It don't make sense to me at all, because it's like, it's your job. When they talk about they got big meetings and stuff, I'm like, okay, even though you the boss of this, you have other supervisors that can get a team and do, you know, at least some of the job, instead of just walking up to the house, you know, nailing up a piece of plywood onto the door talking about be fixed eventually, or, you know, waiting, because how long has it been? It's been about 12 years since it's a house down the street from my grandma's house that's still standing there. Well, they claiming they're demolishing houses, but I'm confused. Like, it don't take 12 years for you to demolish a house.
Well, what I've learned that they need to know is that the city got the money, they just don't know what to do with the money at the time right now, because they want to have, well, some of them wants to hear what the youth want.
One thing I learned that a lot of people, I think, you know, even some people in my family don't know, is that there are people who care, you know. There are people who have an interest in making, you know, Cody Rouge and Warrendale a better place. And things I've learned about is that, like, there aren't many people who get what we go through on a day-to-day basis, but there are people who take an interest in helping us. And I feel like the more people know about that, like they can get the chance to go downtown and talk to the people about certain things. They have the opportunity to like talk to people in their neighborhoods to try to, you know, like come together and do stuff. So I feel like that's one thing that's the main thing I want people to know about, you know, like we can do this, you know. There are ways for us to like, you know, live in a better neighborhood. So, yeah. Thank you guys for sitting through that presentation. Right now we are having a question and answer session. So if anybody has any questions and things that they would like to be answered, you can do that in a second. For now, I want to talk to my fellow neighborhood investigators. So the first question I want to ask y'all is, what was the worst and best part of this investigating?
Everything is the best thing, I can't lie. I enjoyed all 100% all the way.
We got to interview the mayor, and that was like amazing. I'm not gonna say that's like a once in a lifetime thing, but how many teenagers you know go visit the mayor for real? So I thought that was a good thing. Worst thing, like Yusuf said, I don't really think it was the worst thing. This project was absolutely amazing.
I have to agree with both of them. I think this project was amazing, and I would definitely do this again.
For me, the best things were actually having a group of people that you don't know at first and then getting to know them and having somebody to lean on as you're doing a project like this. And the worst thing, my Saturdays.
Okay. So now, if y'all have any questions that y'all would like to be answered, y'all can go ahead. So, we're taking 3 questions at a time, so like, just know that your question will be answered after 2 other people would like to ask questions. And then they will either be answered by my fellow neighborhood framework investigators, some people from the steering committee, or from some people from Hector.
Hello. This would be directed towards any of the panel members here at the tables. I noticed the children were the young people were talking about employment, youth employment. I remember when I was a youth in Detroit, I grew up all my life here in Detroit, and there was a thing we had called the Summer Youth Program where we would give the kids employment. I went through the whole thing from like 14 years old all the way up to about 20, where I became a supervisor. Is there an initiative in place right now in order to do that? And something like that can be incorporated with these children to help them gain the skills and the employment that they would need in order to further their experiences. Anyone? Yes.
So the city currently has our GDYT youth program for ages 14 to 24. So enrollment's closed for this year, but I would highly encourage everyone to send youth towards gdyt.org to sign up for next year's program. And this year I think we're employing around 8,000 youth for the summertime.
I'm sorry, I'm just going to interject real quick. Enrollment is not completely closed. We're actually looking to hire about maybe 30 more youth. And if you have a young person who's between 14 and 24 who lives in the city of Detroit, please see me tonight and I'll give you information about how to apply.
Thank you for the correction.
Okay, I know this is nothing like big or like jobs, but we do at the Islamic Center. We have a lot of volunteering opportunities. Some may be for pay and some may not. In Ramadan, we do need a lot of volunteers to help us with food packing and just stuff around Ramadan because we do have a daily iftar for the community. So if you guys want to join.
Anybody else got another question from the audience?
Hello. I would like to know if there were any of the investigators that found out anything about history of their community, or more specifically, anything related to history that you want to keep in your community.
Okay, so one thing I found out while doing this project was that there are, I don't know if this necessarily has to do with like the history, but I learned about like that a lot of the older businesses and stuff in Detroit, they've been getting shut down. And like, I know that there are some people here that shop there all the time, and it like has a rich history to a lot of those businesses in Detroit. I feel like getting to know about that was like pretty cool because I got to learn about things, even though most of those places are most of those shops are closed down, but you know, I guess that was pretty cool. And I like everything that I learned throughout this whole project, I would like to keep with me because I learned some pretty awesome stuff. So.
I just want to compliment you guys. I am all for youth involvement. That's our future. And I'm so proud of you. You're just awesome.
Thank you. Thank you.
I know they have a youth summer program, but is there a chance, like, when the program is over, are there any businesses that are willing to continue with these young people into the fall and further?
So if you're also looking to join these young people in working with pointy-headed planners and government folks, we will have opportunity for young people to join, especially in the summer and all the way to the end of the project, which is early next year. So come talk to one of us. Maddie is the best person to go to.
Also, you were saying during the school times? Well, we're Cody Rouge Youth Council, and it goes while we're in school. We actually do the meetings while we're during school time, well, after school hours. So that's something you can look about. Ms. Charday can tell you more about it.
Are there any final questions? Okay.
I wanted to answer the question about youth involvement. I mean, these are pretty extraordinary young people, you have to say, right? Pretty amazing. But I just wanted to underscore that they're your sons and your daughters. They're your nieces, they're your nephews. They're your grandchildren. Every one of you know young people that are this talented and this driven. And for this plan to work, we need you to bring your nieces and your nephews and your grandchildren and your sons and daughters to join this effort. They were 9 people who worked for 10 weeks to prepare, to do the investigation. They need a lot of help if this is really going to be a youth-driven plan. They don't want to author it themselves. They need dozens and dozens more. So I don't know if they have a sign-up list back there, but if you have talented young people who are around you in your household, on your block, please get them involved. These kids are having the time of their life. And I know you would like to see the kids that you know enjoy the same experience. I really want to encourage you to make this work. We need a lot more young people to do what these young people are doing today. I mean, you guys are making us so incredibly proud, and I want more young people to experience it. Thank you.
Hey everybody, my name is Carlos. It's not a question, it's more so a comment. You know, I just want to commend these young people for coming out and doing their investigating and holding our civic leaders accountable. I definitely want to shout out Rodney. What he said definitely stood out to me. When he said that when y'all came to investigate these people that pretty much shaped the way of our lives. You know, when you talk to these particular people, sometimes you ask those tough questions, they don't want to answer it. And you got to hold them accountable. You got to put their foot to the fire because they form the environment in which we live. And in order to be a productive product of your environment, you got to have the best environment possible for you to be fertile young people, you know? So like I said, keep on doing what you're doing. Keep holding our civic leaders accountable. Keep asking those tough questions and just keep being the change agents in our community. Thank you.
I would like to thank each and every one of you for coming out here tonight and, you know, just like listening to what we have to say. Like, I really do, we all really do appreciate it. One more time, I know you guys heard this like throughout the whole meeting, but if you guys want to help, make sure you go sign up in the back. We really would appreciate you getting more involved in this project because it really does make a difference when we all come together and, you know, try. So please make sure you go sign up in the back. And if you have any more questions, you can feel free to just like ask it on the way out with some of our people, with Maddie and stuff. Maddie right there, say shout out. So thank you one more time, and I guess I can call this meeting to a close.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know that people really think about all what goes into delivering good quality roads, keeping them in good repair, and that. There's a lot more intricacies to the work. Obviously, just people want to be able to drive on streets and not have their cars destroyed by potholes and that.